welcome to Leverage Lab Notes. This is our LinkedIn newsletter. Today we're recording for our Women Leaders segment, Breaking Barriers. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm very honored to introduce my guests today. I have Catherine Gage and Jillian Pastoor, and they are both with Every Woman's Place in Muskegon. So I've got some questions prepared for both of you, and I'm excited about letting everybody know about Every Woman's Place and all the great things that you're doing there. So let's get started. So I guess we'll start. First, let's do some introductions. Jillian, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Every Woman's Place?
Yeah, so my name is Jillian Pastoor, and I am the Executive Director at Every Woman's Place. I have been in this role for just over 2 years. I started as the Director of Development at Every Woman's Place. However, I've been doing this work since the beginning of my career for just about 20 years now.
Wow. Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, Catherine, how about you?
Thank you. My name is Catherine Gage, and I'm the Director of Development at Every Woman's Place. And I have been here for almost 2 years, just a few weeks shy of that. And I absolutely am honored to be able to serve in this role to connect people's hearts to our mission to help people who are experiencing abuse.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. What does Every Woman's Place do?
Sure. We are a domestic violence shelter, and we also serve people who experience sexual assault and also sex trafficking. Jillian, please tell us some more.
Yeah, so our mission really is to strengthen lives in the community by providing that emergency shelter, counseling, and advocacy for those groups of people that Catherine mentioned. We actually just recently put sex trafficking within our mission as recently as about 2020. And that was strategic to really shine a light on the growing problem of sex trafficking around the nation and right here in Muskegon County. And then that also opens us up for a little additional funding. However, the major portion of our services is for survivors of domestic violence.
Okay. And I think I always like to point this out. I think the name is almost a little misleading because you don't just serve women. So yes, even though the name of your organization is Every Woman's Place, you do serve men as well.
Absolutely. And that's really important for us to highlight. We're actually considering a name change at some point. A lot of organizations like ours have done name changes to really show, because our history is a little bit, we've done a number of things over the years. So we really started from a community-based program, women helping other women by bringing survivors into their homes. And what we quickly found is that survivors oftentimes have other issues that they're dealing with that go hand in hand with the abuse. So, for example, substance use might be a problem, right? And so then bringing them into your home, it creates some additional problems, right? And so that's really where these shelters came from, was that community-based movement of women helping other women. And then it really moved more into this nonprofit space. And for Every Woman's Place in particular, we actually had what's called Webster House. So really looking at child and youth services as well. And so for a large portion of our history, that is really where we were focused on really keeping that family together, building in some support systems for families. But unfortunately, due to some funding changes, we did have to drop that program. But it helped us really focus on abuse and the dynamics of power and control. And within that, we really were able to expand and open up our services to not just women, right? We have male survivors, we have LGBTQ survivors, and it really helped us identify it's not just physical violence, it's emotional too.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So as far as the core mission and what you were just talking about, how do you see the organization evolving? Because you actually are celebrating your 50-year anniversary right now. So talk about that a little.
Yeah, so we're honoring 50 years of service to the community. As we really look forward, where we're looking is prevention and prevention education. That's actually kind of where I started in this world, in this work, as a dating violence prevention educator, going out talking to kids in the school about how to build healthy relationships. So that's really where we can see us having a bigger impact in the future. Along with some other initiatives, we are working with our local community to try to get sexual assault services, get a forensic exam unit. To really boost
very important.
our services there. And then we're working on just a number of community projects with other community partners. So really just reintegrating back into our community. I think sometimes with these types of programs, because of our strict confidentiality,
it can be a challenge.
Kind of working in a silo. And so we're really trying to just get back out there and reconnect.
Yeah. Wow. So as far as challenges, I worked in a nonprofit before. I was with the American Cancer Society, and I know that can be really tough. So what do you feel like? And I think, Catherine, this would be a good question for you, because with being director of development and you're like the fundraiser girl, right? So what are some of the challenges that you're facing right now when it comes to fundraising?
Yeah, thank you. I think a lot of things basically are just centered around that. Our grants only go so far, and there's a lot of gaps. For example, just finding enough money to pay for food for everyone who is in our shelter, helping with, we only have so much money to go towards capital repairs, for example, if pipes break, so finding those extra funds for that, or even just for example, when elevators need to be updated and the government decides that they're now obsolete and now you have to pay, $120,000 more. So I think those are some of those challenges that are always ongoing, besides just, having, money or donations coming in that help, for example, with the products that you use in your home every day. So, and because we do provide housing for people who cannot find a safe night anywhere else, we're always looking for those same products, like cleaning products, shampoos, conditioners, etc. So those kind of things as well are always another unique challenge for fundraising for people who specifically run shelters in this area.
Yeah, we'll definitely put up your wish list at the end too. We'll make sure and add that in. So Jillian, as far as I know this is the hard part. You were talking about how it can be a challenge because of the confidentiality, but without sharing any names, can you share an impactful story where you were able to see someone's life really impacted by your work?
Yes, absolutely. What's so wonderful about Every Woman's Place, like I mentioned, I've been doing this work for a long time. I've worked at a number of shelters, both here in Michigan and across the nation. And one of the really neat things about Every Woman's Place is the comprehensiveness of our programs. And so we do see some of that success from so we recently actually had an individual who came in through shelter, was able to get stabilized through emergency shelter with their children. They had a job already, and so we were able to kind of work with them to help get them into some transitional housing. We do have a transitional housing program. It has pretty strict requirements on how to get into it. But when you are really working that system, you can have some additional help with your rent up to 2 years. And so, so we recently had a person graduate out of that program and buy her own home. And so that was just a really wonderful success story. Housing is so difficult. And once you lose housing, it's hard to get it back. And so one of the things that we really try to do is, as best as possible, we try to keep people in their own homes. So we try to find ways for them to either stay in their own home with that missing, without having that income from that other person, or we work with them to help them save money so that they can purchase their own home and access those first-time home buyers programs and things like that. So that one was just a really awesome one.
Yes, that's so good. How about you, Catherine? Do you have a story on your mind that you can think of about someone you guys have served?
Thank you. I think it was the similar story that we were just introduced to this week
Yeah.
of that, and just to hear even another story where, the person came in, they didn't have a driver's license, they had nothing. And so they had to learn, go get that driver's license, take the test, to get one, to obtain one. They actually were able to obtain, employment. And then from there, they were able to then be able to purchase their very own car and then from there to even just get their own house. This is another individual, so just seeing it from the very beginning, that control and power they can have over someone where they're not even allowed to, obtain a driver's license.
Right. They
Right?
don't even have their own driver's license. They are not
Right.
allowed to be independent in any way. And then to
Exactly.
see that come
And
full circle.
then, yeah, and to see that at the end, the empowerment completely, and where they just have wings to fly. And now they're just so excited to tell everyone just, all that they went through that, with the support of, our location to help them to be able to overcome it and to change their lives, and all those who they will touch as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
love
I
it.
think,
I love
what's so neat about those stories too is that it really shows what advocacy is.
Right.
At any point in that process, it's really easy to give up.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't been in a crisis like a
Right.
domestic violence situation, right? Even just our everyday crises that we have,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's really easy to give up, but having that advocate walking by your side,
Yeah.
working through when you have a roadblock, helping you find those resources, that's really what we do at Everyone.
Yes. I love that. I love it. I love it. Love it. I know some of the questions I had prepared, we've already kind of talked about a little bit, but I want to touch again on fundraising and support. So I know that ends up being such a big challenge for almost all nonprofits, but what are some of the ways specifically that people can help right now with fundraising? And is there something specific that you're looking for?
Yeah, thank you. Because it's our 50th. We have a special campaign that we have started. It's our 50 for 50. So we're looking for $50 for people in honor of our 50th. And we're hoping to find 2,000 people who are willing to give to us. That will help us to raise $100,000 this year in order to help with those repair costs that we have with our building as it's getting older. And as we're experiencing more and more people needing help, the pressure on our building is building. And so, we're just seeking that support to help to us to be able to continue to be where we're at and continue to provide those services. And so we hope that people will be able to empower our next 50 years with this fund that we're growing.
I love that. How is that campaign going? Have you had quite a few people donate? Are you almost there with your goal?
Yes, thank you. It is February, so we're at the very beginning, and we have had tremendous support so far. We've been able to find a couple of matching sponsors who have been able to catapult our goal. We are still at the beginning stages, though. We're at about 100 people, and so we are looking for so many more to join us.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. How can people get involved as a volunteer, and what role does a volunteer play at Every Woman's Place? Like, Jillian, how do you handle situations like that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different types of volunteer opportunities. So currently right now, we do not have a volunteer outreach coordinator, but we are working on getting a person back in place to help with some more of the direct service type volunteer work, because that does require for you to go through a 40-hour training so that you really learn the dynamics of domestic and sexual violence, so that when you're working with a survivor, you're not re-victimizing them in any way. It's really important to have that non-judgmental support. However, for those individuals who are not looking to do 40 hours of training, because it's intensive work, but it's really great for, aspiring social workers and, people looking to get into this field. But we also do have just opportunities to work within our administrative offices and also at our events. So we have a major event in October that we do, and then we also have our awareness months. So October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And so we usually have a number of events during those times that we need additional support for.
Okay.
And we have a 50th anniversary party. Sorry. We also have a 50th anniversary party that's coming up as well in the summer. And so we're also going to be looking for many, many volunteers to help out with that. And more information will be coming very soon on our website.
Okay. And then your October event, is that the Power of the Purse event that you do? Okay,
Yeah.
talk about that. I think that's such a unique project and tool for fundraising.
Yes.
Sure. Power of the Purse was started because often when our survivors leave, they don't have enough time to be able to grab items that they need to go with them. It's a quick hurry up, gotta leave. So they
Yeah.
don't have time to grab their purse. And with the purse, inside you have ability to have your driver's license, you have access to your bank accounts because you have your bank cards with you, you have your keys to your house so you can get back in to go get your items. And so based on the fact that many people have to leave without grabbing those items, that we started this fundraiser many, many years ago to highlight, people who are in that situation and what it's really like when you do have to leave in a hurry. And so we have this a beautiful event where we auction off designer and now luxury purses. And we have community members from around Muskegon that walk the runway and try to show them off, but people bid on them, and the highest bid gets to take home a gorgeous purse. As well as we also have other related purse theme auctions going on that evening as well.
I love that. I think it's great. That's one of my favorite. I think it's such a creative way to get the message across.
It's a very unique event, and it's so much fun. I think that really has become our signature fundraiser, and it's one that we are going to be running with year after year. And we try to change it up each year and make it a little bit different, add a little bit different element. We had a wine poll that we've done the last couple of years that has been really successful.
That's fun. Oh, that's fun too.
And it's fun to get dressed up. I mean, when do we get to get dressed up and go out? We try to have a red carpet that you can walk. There's a red carpet on the runway. So it's just a fun night for you to go out with your girls.
Very fun. I love that. I love that. Yes.
Date night.
So I guess this will be my last question. So looking ahead, what are some long-term goals that you have for Every Woman's Place? And what are some ways that people can help you achieve them? I really want this to be a call to action because Every Woman's Place is close to my heart.
Yeah.
And the work that you do is really important in our community. And so what can we do to help, and what are some of those long-term vision plans that you have?
I think the goal always has been for us, not only us, but for all the domestic and sexual violence programs across the nation, is to work ourselves out of a job. Right. That is really, really what we would love to do. And the way that we can really do that is by learning more about domestic and sexual violence. And really, a lot of these programs started back in the 70s. They kind of went along with the civil rights movement. Yeah. We've learned a lot since then, but we still have so much to learn. I think as a society, we understand now that physical violence is not okay in our relationships, right? But we still have a lot of work to do when it comes to emotional abuse. So I know, our call to action is always that we need money. But also, I think what's really, really important is that we are oftentimes one of the last people to see somebody come in. It really is family members and friends. You guys are the ones who are with people first and foremost. And so the biggest thing that you can do is just really learn and understand the dynamics of domestic violence, and be that support for when somebody comes to you and discloses. Listen, believe them, don't judge them, don't ask them, hey, why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that? Or think about this, or did you think about that? It really is just sitting there and listening, just like you would with your friend, right? And you're going to commiserate with them a little bit, and you're just going to be right there by their side. I think that really makes the biggest difference in people continuing to get help, because usually what they're sharing with you or what they're sharing with us is the tip of the iceberg.
There's so much more going on.
And I think with abuse, one of the dynamics that happens is that abuser makes you feel like you somehow did something wrong to deserve the abuse that you're experiencing. And so there's a lot of shame and a lot of embarrassment and guilt that goes along with things. Maybe you did raise your voice. Maybe you did God forbid, push back. I mean, maybe
Right,
you did
right,
do something, right?
right.
Because this stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum. We're
No,
stressed out,
right,
but a lot of times an abuser will then use that and
right.
use that
That's
to
the
hang
hook.
that over your head.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
And so then it makes it really feel, you feel a lot of shame to reach out. So when that
Mhm.
person does reach out to you, please just listen and believe them and know that probably what they're telling you is what they feel safe telling you.
Right.
Our crisis hotline is available for family and friends too.
Okay.
So I just really want to promote that because sometimes it might take you talking to them 3 or 4 times before they come and talk to us.
Right.
So y'all are really on the front lines, and our call to action really is to just listen and believe survivors.
Yeah, very much. I couldn't agree more. Believe women, believe men,
Yes.
believe people when they say that they're in an abusive situation.
Yes.
Mhm.
The statistics are pretty stark. It is 1 in 4 women who are experiencing domestic and sexual violence, and 1 in 20 men. And I think if we really open up that definition of emotional abuse,
Mhm.
um, we are going to see that it's probably more.
Even more than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
especially as that, type of interaction and relationships becomes more normalized,
Right. Yeah.
it can go both ways, and a lot of times with women, we see more of the emotional abuse, um,
Right.
that
Right.
they're perpetrating, and so,
Right.
yeah, I think, unfortunately, I think we have our work cut out for us, but really, it does take a community, it takes a village to
Yeah.
end this, so we really invite everyone to learn more about
Right.
domestic and sexual
Yeah.
violence.
And you do have some great information on your website. I'm going to put up a link so that everyone can see where to find out more information. I think the work that you guys are doing is so important in our community and so needed. And I want to see that building fixed.
Yes, yes,
all you are all safe and have, don't
yes,
have busted pipes and elevators and all kinds of things. I know
yes,
it's a great, your location is great, but your building needs some work. And so we need people to step up and help financially so that you guys can meet your goals and serve the people who need
yes.
your services. So it's
Thank you
really,
so much for that plug.
yeah,
We have done so much work over these past 2 years. We have a whole new administration, and we are really working to make sure that whatever fixes we're putting into place are sustainable, right?
yeah,
So we are really replacing those full
yeah,
pieces of pipe
yes,
so that we really can function and be sustainable in the future. And
yeah,
regardless of where we end up, we know that it's better for the resale value of the place as well.
right.
So we're really just trying to make sure it's nice and sustainable and that we're putting that work into things.
Yes.
So
Yes. Good. All right. Well, thank you so much again. I really appreciate you both coming on and talking about it. It's been really good learning more about Every Woman's Place and hearing your heart behind it. I'm excited to see what's next for you guys.
yes, thank you for the platform to get our
Yeah.
message out.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. All right. Thank you.